Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Today in Titletown Packers podcast. My name is Griffin. I'm here with my co-host Bron, and we're here to discuss the Packers' dominant win over the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football. Bron, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Things are good. How about you, Griffin?
I'm also doing well. It was a great game on Thursday night. A game we should have won, and a game we did indeed win. Nice bounce back game from the loss to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, it definitely was. And, obviously the 49ers were not at full strength in the slightest, but neither were we. But we have Aaron Rodgers. We have Devontae Adams back. So and Aaron Jones is back as well. And we'll talk about the impact all those guys had. But when you have your three core guys on offense, as a Packers fan, you expect to win, and we came out and did that against a team that we should have beat, like you said.
Yeah, I have two big takeaways. One, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the NFL, and it's not close. That man is a machine, and he's unstoppable. And two, Aaron Jones makes a big difference to this offense, and not just by running the ball. I mean, he's a phenomenal runner. I think he's a better runner than Jamal Williams or anyone else we have. But it's not just that he's a good running back. I think you said it best. When we have our three main pieces on offense, it really turned it's a three-headed monster that you can't really stop because Aaron Jones will eat up a light box, and then if you stack the box, Devontae Adams is one-on-one. And we've been saying this for 2 years now, and it's finally on display. And Aaron Jones being out makes a big difference to this offense.
It definitely does, and I think just to touch on this, I think this plays well for his chances at an extension this offseason. Because, like you said, I really think the last few games have showed, and then when he came back against the 49ers, I think all that showed how important he is to the offense, to Aaron Rodgers, and just to Devontae Adams too, because defenses. When Devontae's there without Aaron Jones, offenses can just kind of key in on Devontae. But when Aaron Jones is there, that's a monster that they have to prepare for along with Devontae Adams, and they can't choose who to stop, and it becomes uncontrollable. So I think, he just brings something different to our offense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers talked about that as well. He just appreciates his skill level. He says he's a special player, just like Devontae Adams. And I can't say it enough. Having all three of those guys on the field for us makes us one of the toughest teams to beat in the NFL.
And that was the case last year too, when Aaron Jones was having a phenomenal season, made his case for being one of the best running backs in the league. And he's been hurt this year, but he's picking up right where he left off. He's a monster on the ground and through the air. He's a great weapon in the pass game.
He totally is. And in the run game on Sunday against the 49ers, he was extra slippery, extra elusive, breaking tackles left and right out of the gate. And I was very, very pleased with how he looked, especially coming off a touchy injury with that calf strain. To see him back out there was great. It took our offense to another level, and I was super excited to see how well he played for us. And we were able to kind of take him out later towards the end of the game. Didn't do too much for us, but just enough to help us get a very dominant and decisive victory. And I can't wait to see what he does against one of these, another really bad defense, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not good against the pass. They're not good against the run. And I'm looking forward to see what our offense as a whole can do with our three guys in there, Adams, Jones, and Rodgers. And, just the way that defense plays, I think we can really take advantage.
Yeah, and now that you mention it wasn't it weird how Aaron Jones was still getting all the garbage time touches because we didn't have anyone else. All of our other running backs were out of the game. We had to give him the garbage time touches, let him eat all the -1 yards rushes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and the one thing about that was, it'd be different if he maybe struggled out of the gate or, after, coming off a few games of missing them for injury. Uh, if he was showing a little rust, maybe you want to get him some extra touches, but he looked fantastic. Uh, so yeah, I definitely wasn't particularly thrilled with having Jones in late. I didn't mind it though, and I'm not sure why he was in there. Like you said, obviously Jamal was out, AJ Dillon was out. Jamal is actually back now off the COVID list, so that's good for depth, obviously, and to have both those guys. But yeah, I think it's pretty good to get him enough run that he's not rusty. But he never really showed any rust, so it was good all around.
Yeah, and Just to go to Devontae Adams here, who had another phenomenal game, another 170 yarder. He had that touchdown, one of the best touchdowns of his career. Great throw from Aaron, one of the best throws of Aaron's 2020 season on the first drive of the game. That was phenomenal. And as soon as that happened, I knew what kind of night it was going to be for Devontae, where the 49ers, they play a cover three shell. And when you're playing a cover three shell against the Green Bay Packers, Devontae Adams is going to eat you alive. You cannot leave him in single coverage. Mike Zimmer is also a cover three-esque defense in Minnesota, but he switched it up last week, going to the cover two high safety. So just so he could double Devontae. And like we said all of last week, there's no one we can rebound with when you take away Devontae. But the 49ers did not deploy that game plan. And just as predicted, Devontae Adams ate him alive, made him pay for it.
He really did. He was fantastic, obviously, once again. With the 49ers missing Richard Sherman, missing Akello Witherspoon, they were a bit depleted in that secondary. And obviously, when that's the case, Rodgers and Adams always take advantage. And it came true once again as they really dominated right out of the gate. Adams didn't get a touch until that touchdown, 36-yard, gorgeous play. Adams somehow got in. He got 1 foot and an elbow in, and that's a touchdown. So just a fantastic spinning catch to start the day, and it didn't get much worse from there. As he continued to get open downfield, and Rodgers would hit him in stride down the sideline, in the middle of the field, and everywhere in between. And that was without Alan Lazard out there, and we expect him back on this Sunday against the Jaguars. But one guy that struggled early and then somehow just became a superstar late in the game was MVS. He dropped the ball on third down. Rodgers looked him down. He knew it was one that had to be caught, and MVS dropped it. But then, as drives went on, MVS had multiple huge plays, including a huge bomb. I think it was over 50 yards to MVS for a touchdown. He made a simple route and just got very, very open. Rodgers perfectly placed the ball. He said he didn't even see MVS. He just knew the route and just thought he'd get open, and he did. And it was wide open. MVS caught it running backwards. It was so much room for him to catch it, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the night for him as he continued to have success. And after that drop early on, it was a rebound game for him, and hopefully with Lazard coming back, he'll have more opportunities to get open when he's maybe not being focused on as much by other defenses.
Yeah, that is what MVS is on the Green Bay Packers. He is the definition of a role player in football. He's those vertical routes when he's allowed to run free, when he's not pressed, when he's just allowed to be faster than anyone on the defense. That's when he gets that wide open, and we've seen it a lot. I'm interested in how many 40 plus yard touchdowns he's had in his 3 years in Green Bay. He's had a lot. That one in Denver, or that one against Denver last year comes to mind. He had one against Minnesota this year. He's open on a lot of these deep routes. It's just it's easy to take that part of his game away from a defensive standpoint. And but when we're able to use MVS, if we had more receivers, when we get Lazard back, maybe if we traded for Will Fuller, we could have a different receiver doing these things that we rely on MVS to do between 5 and 20 yards. But if when we're using MVS how he's meant to be used as the fast deep threat, it's dangerous. He's a good player. The hands, that third down drop early on in the game that you were just talking about, I was really ready to kill him. I don't think I've been angrier at any point this season than I was during that. But he's still a good player when we're using him as the deep threat.
Well, I think he's a good player when he catches the football, and the weird thing about him is that he drops more balls from mid-range than he does, in the deep passing game, which is weird. He seems to make the splash plays, but when we need him on a 3rd and 6 to catch a ball on the run and get a first down, he doesn't seem to be able to do that as much. I feel like he drops a lot of those balls in key situations, but when he breaks free open down the sideline or something of that nature, it seems like Rodgers always throws him open and he makes a nice catch, can get downfield, whatever the case is. Like, I feel like that's the issue with him mainly.
Yeah, and it's all mental. The drops, they're just mental. It's him knowing that he has a drop issue and him overthinking it. We see it across the entire league. Drops are mostly mental. When you have players who have drops, it's in their brain, and you might start running before you fully secure the ball. But the drops, I don't know what you can do to fix the drops, but he's really really annoying with the drops.
The way he is, it's like he either stacks success or he stacks failure in that he drops a lot of passes in a row or he just can't find a rhythm. And that's what
Yeah,
happened at the end of last season. He just couldn't get on the field because every time he was targeted, he couldn't catch the ball or he wasn't running routes correctly. Everything just turned sour for him. And it's because those things started to happen consecutively and it just, you can't overcome it. But like Matt LaFleur says, and Mike McCarthy used to say it as well, teams that are successful and going to be successful and have a chance to win in the playoffs are teams that get hot and stack success, and do it at the right time. And hopefully this is it for MVS. This is the right time, and if he's able to capitalize on the game that he had on Sunday, where he had two great looking touchdowns, a sliding catch in the end zone, one of them being, and then the other one we talked about, that deep ball from Rodgers. If he can stack success and capitalize on that performance, I think we're in for a better wide receiver core than we've had at previous points this year, especially with Alan Lazard coming back for this game against the Jaguars.
yeah. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. I've seen this film before with MVS, but I'm taking it with a grain of salt, cautiously optimistic. But yes, he did have a very strong game, bouncing back from that brutal third down drop.
He's got, well, like I said though, this is a defense that allows a lot of big plays in Jacksonville. Their cornerbacks are very depleted and not good in the first place. Their secondary is not good. It's just not a good defense. So I think this is another chance for MVS to add to that level of success. And who knows, after a while, the more bad defenses he plays and the more he capitalizes on that, it's going to start to become a regular thing for him, hopefully. And obviously, that's what we hope for heading into Sunday.
Hopefully, but speaking of bad defenses, like the one we will see in Jacksonville, perfect opportunity for Devontae Adams to continue his monstrous statistical season he's been having so far. Only played in 5.5 games, and he's already fifth in the league in receiving yards. He leads the league in touchdowns. Just a monster year from Devontae Adams. It ranks up there with the best Randy Moss seasons we've seen. Like, it is insane the type of year he's having, and I have no doubt that it's going to continue against Jacksonville.
Yeah, this is another chance for Devontae Adams to do the same thing he's been doing to a lot of teams, which is taking advantage of the fact that they don't have anybody that can cover him. And it starts with the fact that their corners are not good, and Devontae Adams is really good. And that's really all it comes down to. Regardless of what they're going to play, Jacksonville, they just don't have the personnel to stop Devontae. And like I said, with Alan Lazard coming back, it gives him a great chance to maybe see less double coverage, possibly. Get the wide receiver core at full strength, and we'll see something special, I think, on Sunday.
Yeah, well, you have an inside source on this. Is Alan Lazard going to be making his return this week?
I got a 95% chance that he'll play. That's what I got. So it's looking like he'll be back. So he
That's good
seems
stuff.
ready. He's been practicing for 2 weeks now. He looks good. He feels good, and it looks like he'll be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously, the first 3 weeks of the season before he went out, our passing game could not be stopped against New Orleans, Detroit, and Minnesota. The only thing that could stop it was the drops, which were very prevalent early on in the season. But yeah, Alan Lazard coming back should mean very good things for the offense, which is already playing at a pretty high level.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll open up things for the running game as well. Just the more we pass downfield, hopefully we score early and often, and then get a chance to really build the run game with Aaron Jones coming back and Jamal Williams coming back. It'll put our offense at full strength, and possibly David Bakhtiari. We're not sure about that, but if we can get this offense at full strength, I think we're in for a much better team than we've even been seeing in the past couple weeks, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, this offense, it's like a lot of people talk about how they don't have the skill players, which I will not argue, but they have very, very good players at individual positions. David Bakhtiari could be coming back. Aaron Jones is back. He's great. Devontae Adams is obviously great. Aaron Rodgers is obviously great. Could be the MVP. and then Alan Lazard coming back, who's solid, growing as a player. MVS, who could settle back into that role player position that he's best at. This offense, it looks like it could be dangerous. I might just be getting my hopes up after one game, but it really is exciting. This team on paper right now, with Jamal Williams behind Aaron Jones too.
I definitely, you talk about getting your hopes up. Usually it's a little different. I feel like this year we've really shown what we can do offensively. If you just look at what happened on Sunday night, the Saints just absolutely trampled the Bucks. Uh, that's a great defense with the Buccaneers, and they looked bad. Tom Brady looked awful. He was in the MVP conversation for about a week, and that ended quickly when he threw 3 picks. Uh, and we beat the Saints pretty handily. We beat them by a good margin. Uh, and it's weird because the Buccaneers obviously went out and dominated us. And it just shows you the parity in this league, especially in the NFC this year. Um, and it makes me feel like, we went out and did that against a good Saints team without Michael Thomas, but we didn't have Devontae Adams. And we were able to do things at a high level against a good Saints team. That's a good team. And, the Buccaneers game was a bit of an aberration. Aaron Rodgers doesn't go out and throw 2 picks in a row often. In fact, it really never happens, ever. And we were in a good position to win that football game. With a 10-0 lead with the ball before Aaron Rodgers threw those 2 picks. And I feel like that would not have gone down the way it did if that didn't happen. Obviously, that's like, well, yeah, obviously, if we didn't throw a pick six and then another pick at the goal line. But I think just, a couple, like just a little switch of two things. And we're talking about maybe taking a 17-0 lead. And then the Buccaneers having the ball. So I do think there's room for us to win that football game on another Sunday. And I feel like there's no really team that can come out and beat us. I feel like we can beat every team, basically. The Seahawks don't look great. They lost to a team that is a good team in the Buffalo Bills in the AFC. But their defense has just been so bad, it's pathetic. They're one of I think they're the worst defense in modern football history, statistically. And with that, I feel like with our offense, we're able to capitalize on that. So I just don't see a team that can really beat us, and I'm confident in our team.
Yeah, well, it's tough to say that there's no team that could beat us, but the theme of the league this year is that no one knows who the best team in the league is. Yeah, I mean, there's no clear cut elite team compared to other teams. It's probably the Chiefs, but they have a loss. They didn't look great in Oakland. They've looked shaky in some games. They played close with the Bills, but every team has had an embarrassing game so far at this point. And yeah, I'd like to think that that Buccaneers game was just an aberration, just an outlier for this Packers offense. But as we move further away from that, it does look like that's the case. The Buccaneers really struggled with the New York Giants last week on Monday Night Football. That defense that we've heard so much about the past month, it got torn up by Daniel Jones. I'm not going to say torn up, but they made Daniel Jones look a lot better than he is. And then obviously Drew Brees looked like, 2011 Drew Brees again. So I totally agree with you that those 2 interceptions that Rodgers threw in that game, that never happens. And clearly something was off in that game. And I really hope that's the case. And if we do meet with Tampa Bay again in the playoffs, especially if it's at Lambeau, I think it'll be a lot different story.
For sure. And another thing I want to talk about is the fact that the Buccaneers secondary, there's not a lot of talent there. I've never been sold on the talent in that room, but yet they've been playing well this year up to the last few games. Carlton Davis, he's never been a great player, and he's looked good at times this year. But now, as these last few games have shown, he's not that great. And other guys in that secondary, Jamel Dean, he's not fantastic either. Their safety duo is not fantastic. There's nothing that scares you in that secondary. But they've been a part of what they were doing the past, early to start the season. They were playing really well. But it's that pass rush that really is the main issue. They lost Vita Vea. That was a problem. They took care of it a little bit, but it's still not the same in their run defense. And then their pass rush, when a good O line gets up against them, they're not as effective, and it just changes the whole way their defense plays. So like you said, I think we'd have a good shot to beat them if we played them again, especially at Lambeau.
The thing, their pass rush against us was so dominant because they blitzed the hell out of us, and they wouldn't stop blitzing. They blitzed at an absurd rate, and we couldn't do anything to stop it. We had no answers for it. Against the Saints, they didn't do that. They just tried to rush forward, and Breeze picked them apart. Very weird game plan against Noodle Arm Drew Brees, but that's how they played it. So I think if we meet them again, they're probably going to blitz the crap out of us. Hopefully, we have something to counter that with. We did not in week 6, but yeah, their defense is definitely not as good as it looked week 6, but I don't think it's as bad as it looked last week either.
All right, let's talk about the defense. We've got, we had to face a team that was completely depleted on offense. They were missing George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, Trent Williams, other guys, receivers, obviously. They were missing Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. You name it, they were missing somebody at that position. And it was impactful, obviously. The night before the game, guys went on the COVID list and plans changed. Uh, Kyle Shanahan had said that Brandon Ayuk was going to be the target on the majority of their plays on offense, and obviously things changed when he was ruled out. So they were in flux for sure, but we beat them pretty handily, uh, and regardless of the guys that they had out there, it was still Kyle Shanahan. He had our number last year in a big way, and our defense played well enough. Preston had a good game. Zadarius had a good game, and I feel like overall we did enough to win. Jair went out with a concussion. That could be a problem going forward especially if he can't play. But Kevin King was obviously not available, and guys showed up. Raven Green had a great game. Chris Barnes played good until he got injured. He should be okay though. And other guys just stepped up and were able to do what we had to do against an offense that was very depleted.
Yeah, I, I'm gonna take this performance with a grain of salt, because this offense was very depleted. Hardly anyone that that we met in the NFC Championship game last year, or that has played all season for them, was playing in this game. But from a player to player basis, I do think that our defensive players played better than we've seen, especially Preston Smith, who had a pressure that forced the interception. Granted, it was against the backup. It was against Trent Williams' backup, but he was getting worked all game by both the Smiths. And then Darnell Savage, too, I think had a really, really strong game, had a really nice outlier performance, I guess you could say, compared to his other games that he's played this year. He had a dropped interception where he was playing cover one robber, meaning it was man coverage across the board, and he had the middle zone. Nick Mullins threw it right to him. He had a blind spot for him, I guess, and Darnell dropped it. Literally the same play as week 1 last year against the Bears. I don't know if you remember that, but Mitch threw it right to him and he dropped it. But
Yeah,
Darnell,
he's got to play closer to the ball. Like we have to give him more chances to make plays like that.
yeah,
Rather than he should be, not that he can't play deep. I think he's like the reason we drafted him was because of his speed and range ability. But I think he's fantastic, getting towards the ball. That's where he's best. To be his ability, his speed and range is best used to jump routes, jump guys over the middle of the field. I think he wouldn't be a bad idea to throw in there more often, even in that nickel linebacker role. That DB guy playing next to a guy like Christian Kirksey, who we could see back, or a guy like Kamal Martin or Chris Barnes. I think he brings a different element. To have Adrian Amos playing cover one and then have Darnell Savage up towards the ball more, that's not a bad idea because he's shown he can blitz, and he's shown that when he's getting closer to the ball, his speed and range is unprecedented, and teams aren't going to be able to overcome that.
yeah, it was on full display Thursday night. He was flying all over the field within 10 yards. He made a nice tackle for loss in the backfield, too. I don't know if I'd put him there every down. I don't think he's built to play the run, per se. But yeah, definitely in coverage, I think he's better closer to the line. He seems to make better decisions when he's closer to the line, at least. Because when he's playing deep, he does get lost a lot.
Definitely. Yeah. I think he just kind of uses his instincts. He has less time to think. when he's out there deep, he's really like the manager of everything back there, and he's got to watch. He's got to see what the quarterback looks like he's going to be doing and try to figure it out. But when he's probably closer to the middle of the field, he's going to rely more on instinct than the thinking process, and that's important when you're playing the game of football for sure.
Yeah, all in all, I think the defense did what they had to do. They gave up a few plays to Richie James that were like, what is this? This classic Mike Pettin defense, guys not knowing where they're supposed to be. But, all in all, I think they had a good performance against a team that they were supposed to shut down.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Richie James ended up with more yards than Devontae, although that was a lot of garbage time stuff that he was really their only healthy receiver apart from I think two other guys were healthy and he was
Kevin White,
clearly the better. Kevin White didn't. I don't know if he really even played.
he played a few
But the other
snaps.
guy was yeah. The other guy was Craycraft was there. Trent Taylor was there. But other than that, Richie James was the guy that they were really targeting on passing downs. And he took advantage of the opportunities. We did a good job against the run, I felt like, too. Jarek McKinnon was pretty much held in check. Jermichael Hasty didn't get much at all. So I think the market improvement was against the run rather than the pass. And, considering we didn't have Jair or Kevin out there, I'm pretty okay with the fact that, we let them kind of pass it a little bit, but we were able to kind of stop the run for the first time in a few weeks.
Yeah, that was the formula we talked about, where we get out to a lead, force the quarterback to have the ball in his hands, and it felt like a game from last year where it's Nick Mullins on the other side instead of Drew Brees or Tom Brady, who we've played this season. It was a bad quarterback. He made horrible decisions. The interception he threw was horrible. Preston Smith right in his face, and he throws it to Raven Green. Horrible decision, and we took advantage. And we're showing Mike Pettin is always at his best against these horrible quarterbacks like Nick Mullins, who did not play well on Thursday night.
Yeah, he didn't, and it was nice. I mean, we have to shut these guys down that aren't up to our level of guys like Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith were brought in to be superstars, and they need to play like that, like the way they did when we're facing guys that shouldn't even be in their conversation. Obviously, Zadarius had the huge strip sack. Preston had the big hit on Mullins to cause an interception. So, impact plays are important for superstars, and both of those guys had them. Both of them had a good game, and we need to see more of that. And we can't be seeing it only when their tackles are hurt and they've got backups in. We need to see it against elite tackles because they're supposed to be elite superstar edge rushers, and we need to see that each and every week.
Yeah, we do. And I think the Mike Pettin special from this week was Nick Mullins' touchdown to Richie James. And I think the second quarter, where it was a two-man rush, Bron, a two-man rush at the snap. There was Rashawn Gary came late when it did not matter because they were inside the 10-yard line. A two-man rush against the 49ers.
Might as well not rush anybody.
Might as well not rush anybody. You're right. You're right. And when that happened, I said MVS's drop was the angriest I've been. No, I lied. That was the angriest I've been. That two-man rush.
Well, I thought Mike Pettin did what he had to do this week.
Yeah, but it's nothing we haven't seen before from him. Like I said, I'm not going to get excited over this defensive performance.
No, nothing. I
Let's hope
mean,
we can do the same
this
thing
isn't a
against
game
Jake
you get
Luck this week.
excited about. Yeah, okay, definitely. But this isn't a game you go and get excited about for sure. You're happy that you did the job. Maybe on offense you get a little more excited because we're missing pieces. They're missing some pieces, but their defense is definitely not as depleted as their offense.
Yeah,
On offense, you feel good. On defense, you're like, okay, now let's see this next week and the week after that, and then we'll start to get excited and feel good about this team's chances. And I still feel good about us as a team overall, but I want to see more, like you said, and I think we've got a good chance to and even this next game might not show us much because their offense, they're playing with I don't know if he was a seventh round pick, a sixth round pick, undrafted kid, but Jake Luton is the quarterback that we're facing this week. And that's another guy that we should take advantage and dominate on defense. But even after that, can we do it against, Tom Brady, Not that he's an amazing quarterback anymore, but can we do it against Russell Wilson? Can we do it against Patrick Mahomes? We need to be able to show that we can stop a good quarterback. And it starts with the pressure up front with Z and P. And then it obviously ends in the back end with Jair, who's, he's capable, and Kevin King, who we haven't seen much of this year.
I'm not even asking for us to shut down these guys. It's like we get embarrassed. We get embarrassed anytime we play a good quarterback. So it's you're never going to stop Russell Wilson, but you can slow him down. You can make him look a little shaky, and we never do that. Whenever we're playing a good quarterback or a good offense in general, we look like a bottom 5 defense in the league. So I'm asking for that not to show up, and a performance like this against a bad offense to show up in one of those big games on a big stage, which he never seems to do.
Well, I feel like the first glimpse of that we saw was in the Saints game. I feel like I feel like he kind of did that when he poked the ball out of Taysom Hill's hands and was able to get that fumble recovery. That was what we needed to see, and that felt like an important moment for us, like in this season. And we're gonna look back on this Saints game and say, because now they're 6-2, we're 6-2, Seattle is 6-2. If we finish 12-4 and they finish 12-4, and Seattle is 11-5 or 12-4, we have the advantage over the Saints. We do. We beat them. And that's going to come down and be an important game that we went out and got a victory. And I'm excited for that because it's going to give us a chance to not have to play a team like the Cardinals or the Rams, in a wild card round. That's a tough matchup. Both of those are sneaky tough matchups. And it'll give Green Bay a chance to get the rest of the playoffs through Lambeau, get an NFC Championship game at Lambeau, finally, and that'll give us the best chance in the world to go get a Super Bowl, and obviously we'll have a shot to be the world champions once again.
Yeah, that week 3 game at the time, it felt like, all right, well, this Saints team surely isn't what we thought it was going into the season. But now at this point, it looks like a pretty good win, seeing what they did to the Bucks. 38-3 win over the Buccaneers. That looks like they looked really, really strong on Sunday night. And knowing how we played them in New Orleans, nonetheless, uh, certainly gets your hopes up. I think the Saints have improved. I think Drew Brees has improved since how he was playing early on in the season. But still, that's a good win to have, an important win to have when we're both 6-2 in a very tight NFC playoff race.
Absolutely, it is, and it's going to come down that way. Like I said, I think it's going to be one of the more important victories for us as the season progresses for seeding purposes. Um, we'll have to see if the Saints can sustain the level of play that we saw from them against the Buccaneers. Their schedule is pretty light, but we actually have the second or third easiest schedule for the rest of the way. Our toughest matchup is probably with the Titans later on in the year. But we do play the Bears twice, and we don't know what their offense is actually atrocious, but we don't know, their defense is good. Still have to play the Lions again. Take that for what it's worth. But our and we play the Jaguars. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've got a good shot to even go 13-3 again, if not even higher, if we can play at the level we should be playing. Obviously, that Titans matchup is going to be tough. There's some other games that we'll have to worry about a little bit, but I feel good about where we're at, and I feel good about where we're going to end up at the end of the year.
Yeah, looking down the line, I said it for the NFL. There's really no great elite team, but in the NFC especially, it's the Seahawks. Horrible defense. Russell turns the ball over a lot. Then you got Green Bay, who, poop their pants against Tampa Bay and Minnesota. So you don't know what you're getting from them. Who else is there? The Saints, who noodle arm Drew Brees looked like a bad quarterback early on in the season. Who else is up there? Tampa Bay, who's looked shaky at a lot of times this season. You never know in the NFC at this point. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tight race. But if I had to pick a most complete team, it's probably Green Bay. Even though our defense is bad, I still think we're the most complete team. I mean, on paper, it's probably Tampa, but it's like too many times this season we've seen Tampa just not look right. And then you throw Antonio Brown in there, and it looks even worse. So I think Green Bay looks the strongest at this point.
if the Saints can play like they did on Sunday night, I feel like they're also in that conversation, just because of what we know their defense could be, uh, and we just have to see what Drew Brees is able to do the rest of the way too. So there's probably a little more question marks over there than in Green Bay, where you know Aaron Rodgers is going to be elite. Obviously, we've got Adams and Jones, and our offensive line is the best pass protecting line in the NFL. Uh, I do want to talk about that line because they've just been absolutely fantastic. I'm going to mention everybody, starting with Bill Turner. His ability to play left tackle has been extraordinary. Uh, he's just been lights out, and nobody would have told you. Nobody, if somebody told me that Bill Turner was going to play lights out at left tackle at any point this season, I would have been shocked. And he's doing it, and he's been able to play right tackle as well. And last year he played guard. If that doesn't tell you anything about his versatility, then I'm just really excited with the way he's playing. Rick Wagner, he's been good for us. He's played right tackle in moments, and we're paying him to do so. But I feel good, I do, and I feel like he's a guy that if we bring him in, we're not going to see much of a drop off. Elton Jenkins, he played three different positions at different points in the last few weeks. I'm excited about him. Obviously, he's one of the greatest young players in this league right now. Corey Linsley has been perfect. He's been absolutely perfect. He's maybe the best center in football, and like I said, he's just been great as well. And you just go down the line. I could name everybody, and they're just playing at an elite level for us. And that O line is just it's been a huge reason as to why we've had so much success on offense this year.
Absolutely, it really has been. And Bill Turner and Lucas Patrick are two guys who really stand out as, Bill Turner was probably our worst player on the line last year, and your offensive line is only as good as your worst player. And so seeing the jump he's made from 2019 to 2020 has been astronomical. And then Lucas Patrick coming in at right guard has looked really, really solid. He hasn't been a glaring hole at the right guard spot, which is a position that we've seen in Green Bay in years past. That can wreck a game plan. That can ruin Aaron Rodgers' day if that position isn't holding up. So the two of them coming in and just solidifying the right side of the line. We get Bakhtiari back. Hopefully, it really is. We lead the league in ESPN's run block win rate and their pass block win rate. They've been great this season.
They really have, and they just been maybe the largest reason that we've had the total success that we've had. Rodgers can't do it without those guys blocking up for him. And as we saw against Tampa Bay, when he was getting pressured, it was a whole different ballgame. We need to play that way at an elite level on the offensive line, so Aaron Rodgers can do what he does best, and that's sling it from inside the pocket. And obviously, if he gets outside the pocket, he does his thing too. But uh, Rodgers is best when he's throwing in rhythm and hitting guys deep from inside the pocket, and he looks fantastic this year. And a lot of it is because he's uh, you know really almost every game he's clean at the end of it. No grass stains on his shirt, no grass stains on his jersey, and that's why I really give the offensive line a lot of credit.
Yeah, we've seen Aaron's one of his biggest flaws is feeling phantom pressure when he's uncomfy in the pocket. He maybe drops too far back, rolls out when there's no pressure. And when he has complete confidence in his line, like he does this year, for good reason, he's as sharp as ever, and we're seeing it.
All right, with that, let's kind of get into this Jacksonville game a little bit. Obviously, you mentioned it. Jake Luton will be starting at quarterback for the injured Gardner Minshew. Uh, he looked pretty decent last week. Threw for over 300 yards, touchdown and interception. The one touchdown was a deep ball DJ Chark. He's a guy you got to worry about, DJ Chark. He's a good receiver for them. Uh, and they've got a good running game as well with the undrafted free agent James Robinson, who has played really well for them. Uh, so they've got some good offensive weapons. Keelan Cole is another guy that they've got. They lost D.D. Westbrook to injury for the year, but they're not bad on offense. They with the quarterback, we'll have to see how he plays, but this is a game where we're going to have to take advantage and get pressure on him, make him get nervous. He's a young guy, obviously. So we're going to have to get pressure, get hits on the quarterback, and then obviously the rest will take care of itself. So, Griff, tell me about your thoughts on this game, what we need to do to win.
Yeah, well, I talk about our defense looking like a bottom five defense a lot. Houston it might be a bottom two defense. Their defense is horrible, and so Jake Luton coming out slinging it against them isn't all too shocking. But he did play very well, a lot high. He had a lot higher performance than people were expecting, and he damn near almost won the game. So, can't downplay that, but I'd like to think that our defense will be ready for that. I don't know about Jair being back in. He's still in concussion protocol, right?
Yeah, I'd have to say it's probably not too likely that he plays. Maybe we'll get Kevin back. I hope so, but I don't think I. If I had to guess, I would say Jair probably doesn't play. Although it's been 10 days, we'll have to see. I mean, he's still in the protocol, and it's we still have a few days here until we'd have to see him get out of there in order for him to play. You'd like to see him maybe practice once, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he plays. Kevin probably has a better chance than Jair does because he's been out for a few weeks now, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, we could be facing a depleted, or we could be facing a decent wide receiver core with some depleted cornerbacks on our defense, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, if that's the case, it's going to come down to Mike Pettin, putting the defense on his back and making sure Jake Luton, rookie quarterback, doesn't beat us. Simulating pressure, getting to him, making him see ghosts, post snap motion on the defensive side. A lot of that is going to come down to Mike Pettin. We've seen him take advantage of these bad quarterbacks before, i.e., Nick Mullins last week. But we're really going to need to see that because he did play well last week, and they do have a lot of good receivers, and they should be getting Laviska Shenault back, correct?
Yeah, he's another guy. He's been good for them too, and he brings a lot to the table. Obviously, able to. We saw him in college run the Wildcat. He's able to run the ball, and he can get downfield as well. So he's a weapon they like too. But he did leave the game uh, last week, and I'm not sure if he'll play. But I would assume he does. And if he does, that's another guy that could give the Packers issues.
Yeah, so for the defense, it's going to be really we're going to need Mike Penton to have a strong performance and make sure that we don't get embarrassed by this Jaguars offense. But for our offense, it should be another great performance, correct? I mean, we're saying the same thing against Minnesota, and we saw what happened there, but I don't think they have the pieces to do what a Mike Zimmer did against us.
I don't think they have the coaching either. Like I said, like you said, Mike Zimmer's a different coach than Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the personnel's not there, but they don't even have. I mean, their best player is Miles Jack, but and he's that linebacker in the middle. But still, I don't think they have a guy like Eric Kendricks and Harrison Smith and other guys that Rodgers has to really account for like he does against the Vikings. So and even Anthony Harris too. He's obviously become a good player in this league. Uh, I just don't think they have those type of players. Not only in that safety group or in the linebacker group, besides Miles Jack, but in that corner room, I just don't think they have that talent there. So I feel better about this game than I did against Minnesota, and I felt good about Minnesota going in. And obviously, we lost in a close game there, but yeah, I do feel confident in the offense heading into this game.
Yeah, it should be another great performance for Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers should have a good game. Alan Lazard coming back into the fold, easing him back into it, should get him a good amount of snaps, assuming he plays, according to your source. But yeah, I have high expectations for this offense, as I should against a one-win team that is Jacksonville.
All right, Griff, give me your X factor for this game and tell me who you think's going to win.
Yeah, my X factor for this game is gonna probably be Devonte Adams. I think he's going to have a really, really strong game against a very bad defense. And I'm hoping we can put up 40 again. We haven't seen that since week 2 against the Lions. Uh, yeah, I'm hoping it's a really strong game from this offense, more of what we've seen this season.
Griff, my X factor is going to be Alan Lazard. Assuming he plays, assuming my source is right on this one, like he was on the timeline of the injury. He told me 4 to 6 weeks, and that's obviously the case. We're going to see him back in that time span. So I think it's going to be Alan Lazard. If he's able to go, and I think he's gonna have an impact for sure. We saw him leave after the Saints game in which he dominated. I mean, he did so many good things for us without Devontae Adams on the field. Uh, I think this is a game where he could obviously have success. And there's a little known fact about him that could come creeping into play in this game is the fact that he was on the Jaguars practice squad and then cut from that practice squad in which Alan Lazard then signed with the Green Bay Packers. So there's some revenge history here that we could be talking about. But, I do think seriously that he could have an impact in this game and obviously helping Devontae Adams out, MVS out, and obviously Aaron Rodgers as well. So I'm looking forward to it. And my score prediction, I'm going to say 37-16. Book it down.
Alan Lazard revenge game. Not a lot of people are talking about that.
No, they're not.
Yeah, all right. And with that, we're going to try something here. In honor of the great Alex Trebek, legend, icon, American hero, we're going to do some Packers Jeopardy. We're going to try some of that out. How does that sound, Bron?
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers obviously went on Celebrity Jeopardy. He smoked Kevin O'Leary and and an astronaut. I forget his name.
Yeah, what was his name? Something
Mark
Kelly,
something.
right? Mark Kelly?
Mark
That's
Kelly
it.
was his name.
Yeah, he
He
beat an astronaut on
absolutely
Jeopardy.
smoked him. Yep.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary was left in the negatives at the end of the show, and Rodgers was able to win $50,000 for his charity that he always fights for, the MAC Fund. And yeah, it was a great performance by him. So we're gonna kind of do something similar here. Obviously, not to the grand stage of actual Jeopardy, but it's gonna be some Packers Jeopardy. So Griff, why don't you start us off with some questions?
Yeah, and obviously we have no buzzers. We're doing this via the internet, so it's just we're gonna do it turn-based style. You go, I go. This could be fun, or this could not be fun. And if it's not fun, you won't be listening to it. So, hooray! This is fun. We're gonna start this out. Okay, I'm gonna play the role of Alex Trebek. You're gonna play the role of Jeopardy legend Aaron Rodgers, I suppose, to open it off. Our categories here: Lombardi legend, the founder, Packers comeback, Lambeau Field, and the Cheeseheads. They go from 100 to 500. They go from 100 to 500. Bron, you can start us off here. Oh my god. This isn't Final Jeopardy, Bron. Not the spot. Yeah. All right, what are we starting with?
Give me the Cheeseheads for 200.
Cheeseheads for 200. I like that choice. Okay. How did the team get its name?
What is the Acme Packing Company?
What is Meat Packing Company? I suppose I'll give you the point for that.
I gave you the full name, so I better get the points.
You did, yeah. I got this. I got this on the internet. It's one of two available, and the other one only has 3 categories. So I chose this one. The questions seem like they're not even clues. They're just questions, which is not Jeopardy, but we're gonna roll with it. All right, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go with Packers comeback for 200. The year Packers hired coach Mike Holmgren. Ooh. Oh boy. What would that be?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with I did. I'm gonna go with 1994. What is 1994? Oh, damn it.
Whoa.
What is 1992?
Oh, almost. That was close.
I thought that's
You're
when
not a real Packers fan, obviously.
I'm not a real Packers fan. I was not alive in 1992. All right, Bron.
All right, I'll take Lambeau for 200.
All right. This is easy. You're getting the easy ones. What year did the Packers first start?
What is 1919?
That is correct. Good job there.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Good job. Okay, I'm gonna go with Lombardi legend. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Lombardi legend for 100. Lombardi's they spelt Lombardi wrong. Lombardi's plan before devoting his life to football. I think he was going to be a pastor. What is being a pastor? What is a priest? I'm gonna give myself that one. Okay. I'm giving myself that.
Yeah, that's good.
What is your next category?
I'll take Lambeau for 300.
Lambeau for 300. The year Lambeau Field got its name. Huh.
You know what we should have done? We should keep going after we get them right.
Oh,
That's
you're
okay.
right. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that.
Okay. So just answer, what was the question?
All right. This question is the year Lambeau Field got its name.
Oh, that's okay. It's not
That's a toughie.
1919.
It's
That's
not
not easy. I'm
1919.
gonna go. It's not. I don't. I'm gonna go with. What is 1955?
Oh, what is 1965? Close.
Oh wow. So okay, that's odd. All right.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with Packers
Um,
comeback for 100. The Packers starting quarterback in the 1992 through 2007 season. Who is Brett Favre? That is correct. Go. Oh, I'm so good. All right. And
what was that one worth?
100.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm now new rules. I'm going to continue to answer questions here. I'm going to go with Lambeau Field for 100. The home of the Packers. What is Lambeau Field? Oh, I'm literally dumb. I am very dumb. Oh man.
Uh, can I steal?
Yeah, it's steal.
No, I can't steal.
No,
But what
yeah,
is
because
Green Bay? What is
yeah,
Green Bay?
it is what is Green Bay. That is the answer. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
god. Well, I took
Blew
the
it there.
category is called Lambeau Field.
That's
All
probably
right.
why that wasn't the answer.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. What's your next one?
I'll take. Give me the founder for 100.
All right. College Curly Lambeau went to.
Oh my goodness, I have no idea.
Oh, I feel like I know this one.
Uh, I'm gonna assume it's in. Oh God, I don't know. Uh, what is UW Green Bay?
Okay, I don't know the answer yet. I feel like it's St. Norbert. You think that would be it?
Oh, that could be it,
All
but
right, your
don't
your
know how
your
long these
your
went on.
answer is UWGB, which I'm sure is not correct. No, what is Notre Dame?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like a lot of listeners are gonna know that, and yeah, whatever. All right, my next one here is gonna be Packers comeback for 300. The reason Sterling Sharp ended his career in the NFL. I'm not very wise in the Sterling Sharp trivia. I have to admit. I don't know. Do you know?
Yep.
What is it?
You don't know
No.
it. It's he had an injury, career-ending injury.
Oh yeah, I guess it did. Yeah, he did have a neck injury, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. What is a neck injury? Oh, wow, that's embarrassing. I should have known that.
Yeah, that is embarrassing.
That's
The fact
embarrassing.
that I got
I
what
did know
college,
that.
the fact that I got for a $100 question, what
Well,
college
dude, that was the
does?
first. That was the
That's a
first.
tough question.
That was the first question of that category that we answered. We're
I
avoiding
know, but
Curly
that was
Lambeau.
tough.
Yeah, I don't know much about Curly.
I don't know what I mean. I know
All right,
I've seen things about
let's
him,
get
but
this going. We don't got all night here.
I'll take Packers comeback for 400.
The first year Holmgren led the Packers to a winning season.
What is 1994?
What is 1996? Wow, their first winning season was the year they won the Super Bowl. How about that? All right, I'm going to go with the Cheeseheads for 300. What year did franchise join the NFL? What is 1921? That is correct.
Easy.
Yeah, I take the lead here, 500 to 400. So I'm going to go with the Cheeseheads for 100. Creators of the Green Bay Packers. Curly Lambeau and George Calhoun. Who are Curly Lambeau and George Calhoun? All right, who is Earl Lambeau and George Calhoun? That's, Curly's a nickname. All right.
Yep.
I'm at 600. You're at 400. I'm going to go with Cheeseheads for 400. The year the Packers led the NFL with a 12-0-1 record. Ooh. Ooh.
That's a hard one.
That's 12-0-1. Has that ever happened
You
to
know that
any other
wasn't many
team?
times recent.
Yeah. That one was probably a 3-3 game. I'm going to go
Yeah.
with, I don't know, 1947. What is 1929? Okay. Oh, all right. Go ahead, Bron.
Oh God. Okay. I'll take God. I'll take the founder for 200.
Founder for 200. The two roles did Lambeau play in the franchise? I know this one.
Wait, say that again.
The two roles Lambeau played in the franchise.
What is player and coach?
Yeah, more specifically, I think it's safety and coach, wasn't it? Oh no, what is head coach and running back? So I'll give you that one.
Okay.
I'll give you that one.
I didn't know that they were asking for a position.
Yeah.
I'll take founder for 300.
All right, we're tied at 600, by the way. Curly, what the hell? Curly Lambeau's real name.
Earl Lambeau.
Wow. All right. Yes,
I
that's
wish
correct.
that would have probably been a better 100-point question, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, considering I just answered that, or I just gave you that answer.
Well, it's not like I didn't know that already.
Okay. Next one.
I'll do Cheeseheads for 500.
The year the Packers went 5-7-1.
1934. What is 1934?
What is 1933?
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh,
all right.
My goodness.
All right, I'm going to go with Packers comeback for 500. The year Coach Holmgren left the Packers to become a general manager of the Seahawks. Ooh, God. Good Lord. What is 1999? Oh, what is 1998? Good.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Wow, 2 questions in a row we were one off. All right, you have a 900 to 600 lead, by the way. What's your next?
Okay.
What's your next
how
one?
many? What's left? Tell me what's left on the board.
We got Lombardi Legend, 200, 300, 400, 500. The Founder, 400, 500. And Lambeau Field, 400 and 500.
Okay. I'll take Lombardi Legend for 200.
The first year Lombardi took the Packers to the NFL Championship.
What is 1954?
What is 1960?
Whoa. Okay.
All right, I'll take Lombardi for 300. The team Lombardi led the Packers to defeat twice in the championships back to back. I don't know who made this. Very weird wording on this, but I'm gonna go with the New York Giants. I think. What is the New York Giants? I was right.
Well, a good one.
Tied at 900 now. I'm gonna go Lambeau Field for 400. The nickname Packers fans gave the community after winning 8 championships. What is Titletown? What is Titletown? That is correct. All right, I'm going to go with Lambeau for 500. 500. The team the Packers played in the Ice Bowl, who were the Dallas Cowboys? That is correct.
That was a tough question.
Yeah, real tough one there. Hey, it's been on the board all game, buddy. I'm going to go with the Lombardi. I'm going to go with Lombardi for 400. The score of the championship game against the Giants in 1961. How the hell am I supposed to know this? I don't know. 1961, like 13-6. 37-0. Wow.
You were close on that one.
I was close on that one. That had to be like the... All right. What are you going with, Bron?
Okay, what is the score?
Griffin, 1,800. Bron, 900.
Wow, I need all these, basically.
Yeah,
no, I need
close.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
So, wait, what was the... give me the one category that has 500. What
Lombardi.
Is it? Give me Lombardi for 500.
The team the Packers lost to in the championship in 1960.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who are the Cardinals?
Who are the Philadelphia Eagles? Ooh, that's a tough one.
Wow. That's
all right, so the score is 1,800 to 900. You need me to get this wrong. All we have is the Founder for 4 and 500. So I'm going to go with the Founder for 400. If I get this right, game over. How long did Curly Lambeau coach the Packers? You got lucky. I'm going to say 21 years. What is 31 years? Okay. Well, you lost, but you want to answer this one just for the fun of it?
Is there a final Jeopardy? Is there a final Jeopardy?
I don't know. I guess we'll see after this question. Okay. So the Founder for 500. Curly Lambeau's height and weight.
Okay. Wow, I have to get it exact. I'll say What is 5 foot? Nope.
They were shorter back then. Don't forget.
Yeah. What is 5'11" and 251 pounds?
You think you're that fat? What is 5'10" and 190 pounds?
Wow.
Yeah, you were 1 inch off. Wow. Is there any Final Jeopardy? There's no
One
Final
inch
Jeopardy.
off. 1 inch off and 60 pounds off.
Final score 1,800 to 900. I win.
Well,
Well-
the scoreboard can be deceiving, folks. I'll tell you. It was a lot closer than you think, but
I think we both did okay. I think we
Yeah,
should
I
have done
think-
better.
no, I mean, maybe if I knew Curly Lambeau's weight, but
Well, this feels like it was made in like 2005.
yeah, his height and
I
weight
don't
might
know.
have changed over time.
Yeah. Well, I guess I guess that's gonna do it for the pod, huh? We'd like to thank you all for listening. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. We'll be back next week, Thursday morning, as per usual, to talk about the next week's game. This week's game against the Jaguars. We'll be reviewing it. For me, Bron, make sure to follow us on Instagram. I'm at All Day Packers. He's at Lambeau Leapers. And we'll see you here next week. Go Pack Go.
Thanks, everybody.